I've tried to record this video 10 times. It just is not working out. But um as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about like my experience and like, how much I regret doing my hoe phase. And it was you have to understand that like we live in such a polarizing world today, very much like purity culture, like save your save yourself for marriage, and then it's like be with whoever you want as long as you're protected, like it doesn't matter who you're gonna be with. And it's just like there's just such confusing messages on both sides, and I'm trying to be the middle ground because I had to learn the hard way. I went through like such a purity culture, like 100%, like I'm saving myself for marriage, and then like, oh my gosh, be with whoever you want, and like as long as you're being protective. And it's just like two sides, like they do bring up points, but at the same time none of those sides got it right, you know what I mean? Or like to a certain extent, but you have to understand like the way that I was brought up. It was very like I'm Catholic, and I was very much a hardcore Catholic, and it's very much save yourself for marriage, like save yourself for your husband. And then like I've always thought I was going to lose my virginity to my husband, but the thing is, like, the way that I was growing up, I was starting to question my sexuality and the feeling to be wanted by the opposite sex. Like, I wanna like be like I want men to be attracted to me, and the feelings of like not being seen. And like now, like this was because I never got any attention in high school because I was kind of a geek. I was not even a geek, I was just ugly. But I think I'm doing better now. But it was just like, those conflicting feelings, and like no one's really like, no one knows what they're talking about. I didn't have any like older people guiding me through this process of like like teaching me like about sex and like wanting to be physical with a person, and the feelings of me wanting to be wanted and wanted, male attention, which is like, like those feelings, the feelings of being wanted, the feelings of wanting to attract, it's natural. Like I just wish that it wasn't shunned, the feelings of being horny. It's like it's so natural. And like, when the way I was brought up, it was super like, don't do that, it's a sin, and like that played such a heavy role on me, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like feeling these feelings are a sin? Are you kidding me? Like I'm going to hell? It's just like very much like do or die, and like I was just like so scared of like feeling what I'm feeling because I didn't know any better. And then like this was all through high school. When I finally got out of high school, I was like, trying to like find myself like where I'm at, like I was 20, like I'm 23 right now, but I was trying to like understand like, my feelings. And like I just had like no one there to guide me, no one there to help me and to understand these feelings are natural. And it's just like, it's fine to feel those feelings, babe, like it's fine. But then like I just went off the path, like, hearing social media these days, like our culture is very hyper sexualized, where it's like always about pleasure and like happiness. And like, I just thought I could, like do whatever you want. I thought like I could get like, the feelings of being wanted and being attracted by men. Like I thought I could just get it through them physically. And you have to understand, during this time I was so naive. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I 100% my whole face, because I feel like I use it as a form of self-harm. Because like, I just kept on like degrading myself, where it's like, you're so fat, like you're so lucky to be with this guy who even wants to be with you physically. And like, oh, these talking about it, it's definitely, you know, like it brings up the feelings that I had before, and I don't feel them now, but like, you know, like 20-year-old, 21-year-old Heidi, like using sex as like a form of self-harm. It's definitely like, you know, I remember her, and like she's always with me, and it's just like that's tough, you know. And like the way that our culture promotes like sex, it's just like it's such like it's I don't know, it's so confusing, and like it's so like not the best, you know. And like I was going through that tough time, and like thank God I seen the way out, because I started to research online about like pleasure and sex and relationships, and I just didn't understand, you know, like what was happening, and like what the feelings I were feeling. It's like, oh, I wanted to be like I want to be wanted, I want to be loved, I want to be in a relationship. But you know what? Being physical with another person will not get me that relationship, you know? Like, and like punishing myself through sex is not gonna make me any prettier. It's not gonna make me feel like wanted by men, because like in reality, babe, like men will always want to like have sex with women. 100%. Even when I was looking not the best, like they still would want to be with me. And like that's the thought I had to just get wrapped in my head. It's just like, oh, like, you know, like you think you're getting a one up on men, but really they're just getting a one up on you. You know what I mean? Like men can just be with guys if you wanted to, you know, 100%. But you know, that's not always the greatest case, you know. And like I'm just trying to like teach you guys the balance, like the middle, because you know, of course, like saving yourself for marriage, like whatever, noble, but and like being with your being like sexual with anyone else, it's all like they're both not good things. And like one thing that I wish someone told me, you know, save yourself for yourself. Like if you want to be with someone, then like make sure you really trust him, because like, you know, like I heard this quote where it's like people reduce sex to nothing more than an act now because they don't want to be intimate. And like, you know, I just feel like, you know, even at 23, I'm still trying to like figure this stuff out, you know. And like I just want my younger audience to get a heads up there that's like, you know, it's okay to have these feelings, it's okay to be horny, it's okay to like want to feel wanted. But when you're trying to find like love somewhere else, like that's where the whole thing gets messed up. That's where the problems start to happen. So if you do that, if you're starting to like, you know, trying to like if you're starting to find love in other places, just make sure you love yourself extra harder during those times. Though, like, you know, getting your feelings in check, it's very tough. Or it's not very tough, honestly. It's just very much, you have to make it a habit to always check yourself, you know. And like during those times I didn't check myself, I didn't have anyone to guide me through that process of becoming a woman who wants to be wanted. And like the way that like the church made it seem so archaic and like very much a sin, like you're going to hell, screwed me up. And like the way that now social media nowadays, like do whatever you want, it's like that's not healthy too, you know. Like why are we reducing sex to nothing more than an act? Like honestly, that's kind of hedonism, like constantly trying to chase pleasure. And like that's also not a good thing, you know. Like let's just come to the middle line and like, you know, try to find what's best for you. You know, if you're truly okay with like being with many partners, cool. If you truly like want to just save yourself for your husband, that's fine too. But like I'm just trying to bring back power to yourself. You know, you're not saving yourself for a husband, you're saving yourself for yourself, because you deserve that respect and love from another person. And you know, I'm not trying to promote purity culture, because that's like a toxic culture within itself. You know, like the way that it's said, the way that's being brought up, yeah, the way that I learned it was very not the best. But you know, I hope this message gets to people. I would love to create a dialogue with like what's your opinions and your thoughts on, you know, like just sex and like the way that it's being brought up today. It's a very tough thing to think about, for me at least. It's just like I've experienced it a lot, but there's so many more layers, and like asking the right questions will always be good, you know. So ask those questions away. Let's create a dialogue. Like what is people thinking? What are you thinking? Like what have you learned? Some of the lessons that you've learned. Definitely, like, you know, yeah, it's a journey. You know, this life's a journey, but shoot, let's make it rock, y'all. I gotta go.